My name is Leo Gutierrez, and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm a rising senior majoring in public health with a minor in psychology. This summer, I had the opportunity to intern with Live Oak Wilderness Camp. Live Oak was started by a guy named Jack Carey in 2015 when he realized that New Orleans is a city overflowing with amazing kids who occupy very different kinds of schools. These include public, private, parochial, and independent. Within many of these schools, students often find themselves lacking the opportunities to learn, connect, and grow together. Live Oak was originally located in Camp Wendover in Crystal Springs, Mississippi, but eventually relocated in 2017 to Camp Teock in Wiggins, Mississippi. Our program welcomes students ages 8 to 14 to come to one of our three 10-day sessions packed with fun and engaging activities that includes a lake, a rock wall, archery, and an array of zany activities that allow kids to be kids. Since Live Oak's inception, they were able to grow from 30 campers to over 300 campers from over 70 different schools, and from about 15 staff to over 60 personnel. Live Oak has done an excellent job at fundraising for their lower income campers to ensure that they have access to financial aid scholarships to fulfill our mission of keeping our camp as diverse as possible. So, how do the kids apply? Also welcome everyone despite their race, their gender, socioeconomic background, and physical ability. Live Oak is built on three essential values that include bravery, awareness, and kindness. At Live Oak, we hope that campers will use these three values to grow in the following ways. They will see themselves as an even more capable leader because they build skills and deepen values that effective leaders possess. They will see themselves as even more capable teammates because of their growth in skills and values. They will build friendships with people who are different than they are. They will become more confident in who they are individually and as a member of a collective Live Oak community. They will build skills and proficiencies in new areas as they explore activities they may have never tried before. We implement this through a variety of activities scheduled for the kids throughout the day. These include explorations, it challenges, free time, meals, evening activities, and nightly devotionals. Explorations, basically, these are when campers have two 1 hour periods each day in which they will participate in an activity that they choose. These include arts and crafts, Dungeons and Dragons, cooking, wilderness skills, archery, card games, BB guns, and much, much more. Campers choose what they want to participate in 4-day courses, and coaches lead these activities. Then campers switch to new explorations that they choose. Team-based challenges, these are just challenges that we give the campers. It's on a piece of paper, and we say, all right, whatever is on this paper, follow those instructions and go out and go do it. And then this is just a great way for them to learn about each other, learn how maybe one person likes to step back and listen, maybe another person likes to step in and take charge and lead the group. These are just ways for us, the coaches, to kind of see how they're actually doing these things. Then free time is very similar to, I guess, explorations, except it's more laid back. You don't necessarily have to stay within your BB gun area, or you don't have to go to the lake or whatever. You're not restricted to anything. And it's just a great way for kids and coaches to just have a great time, have conversations, learn more about each other, et cetera, et cetera. Meal times. So meal times are very special at Live Oak. We're very hungry after long, long days in the sun, and so we actually have a very cool tradition here. So one of our traditions is that before we eat, we all stand around the table, and then what we do is we start chanting like chef, chef, chef. The chef will come out, present what we have to eat, and then we sing, and then we sit down and eat. And it's all family style, so it really brings us closer together as a community. So we're not each individually receiving a plate of food. There's a huge thing in the middle, and then everyone picks out. So it's just a great way for us to bond and learn to be selfless and not take too much or too little, etc. Right? Evening activities, these are really fun. These are the big activities for the day. This can range from casino night. This can range from capture the flag. We do all kind of cool things. Again, this is just another way to get the campers to learn more about each other. But we also make it like a little competition. So here at Live Oak, we are separated into two different teams. We have the blue team and we have the green team. In these teams, in order to get chosen for these teams, we have an event called Find Your Destiny. Find Your Destiny is basically when You're either chosen as blue or green team. You smash your face with a bowl of whipped cream, and under the whipped cream, you will see a color, whatever color that is. That is your destiny. There's no switching. You are a part of that team for life. So go blue team. And then we have nightly devotionals. Nightly devotionals can be pretty serious, but they can also be very, very fun. In these devotionals, we just take time to reflect on our day, the session, how we are doing as a cabin, etc. And during these times, this is really when we are able to be vulnerable with each other. We can open up about our personal lives, and these moments are just really special. There are tears, there's lots of laughter, but these are times just for us to just kind of process everything that just happened during the day and throughout the session. And then once camp is over, we want to ensure that our campers don't forget why they came to camp. So we actually have 3 reunions in between the summers. These reunions are designed to solidify our campers' network and to build upon what they have learned during the summer. Speaking of learning, so I guess one thing that I have learned during my time at Live Oak is I have learned that when given the opportunity, kids can accomplish great things. Oftentimes people seem to think that kids can't develop into effective leaders or awesome community members because of their individual behavior. Maybe certain kids are bad, whatever the narrative might be. I just think that's wrong because we've had kids who've caused trouble initially, but ultimately became a very positive and essential part of our community. And it's just all about giving them the right opportunity. So I guess some of the changes and challenges I have faced here at Live Oak is definitely moving away from home for like 20 days was a huge challenge. I'm a huge city boy. I'm not used to this camp life at all. But what I've learned is that it is entirely possible for me to do that. Also, just having an amazing team to work with and awesome kids to interact with every day makes it very easy. However, when there is conflict, I've had to step in and help find a solution to whatever conflict the campers may be having. We've actually had a physical altercation almost happen, and I've had to step in, be like, hey, y'all need to stop. Let's find a peaceful solution to this. And so that was definitely something hard that I've had to go through because I've never done that before. But yeah, it's an interesting challenge. Some skills that I've gained, I believe, as much as camp is for developing these young kids into great leaders, I believe camp has actually made me a much more effective leader as well. I am responsible for collaborating with 2 other coaches and leading a cabin full of 12 kids who are just all over the place and just want to do their own thing. Of course, this requires a lot of communication and awareness on my part in order to run things smoothly. I just always need to be on my toes. I just need to recognize, okay, this camper might be acting kind of differently today. Maybe there's something wrong, or maybe there's nothing wrong. But obviously, just having that awareness to just pick out, hey, are you okay? That is something that I am definitely learning and I'm getting much better at. And also just setting the tone for the rest of camp by just bringing the energy, being happy, being positive all the time, every day. So that's just definitely a skill that I've learned. And so when we talk about just the meaning of public health, I definitely think service is important. It's just how we do it is the hard part, right? I am thankful that Live Oak takes necessary steps to make camp as diverse as possible through cultural competency training, training for campers with disabilities. We actually have one camper who's blind, so we actually had an organization called Lighthouse come here and train a group of us to just understand what it means to be blind and how to work with people with blindness. And also we're also working with a child psychologist in how to report abuse, how not to tamper with that, et cetera, et cetera. So since we are working with a vulnerable population, kids, I strongly believe that Live Oak is doing an excellent job of making sure that they're safe. And I think one reading that I really started thinking about when I was here at camp was the Privilege, Power, and Public Health reading. So every day when I interact with campers, I find out more and more about their lives, where they go to school, where they go on vacation, what they like to do in their free time. And oftentimes I hear answers such as, oh yeah, I went to Europe right before coming to camp, or I go to Newman, which is actually a private school that costs about $20,000 to attend. And then when I see these campers, I usually notice a trend. They're white, they live uptown or in upper middle, high end areas. And so then when I look at other campers and they tell me where they go to school, it's typically charter schools or they live in the lower income areas like the east of New Orleans, and these campers are typically of Black, Latino, or minority, any kind of more minority. And it's just interesting seeing that there's like this huge income inequality gap present at camp. And while I think having these two groups occupy the same space doing the same leadership activities is a great thing, I definitely think there's room for improvement when it comes to addressing these issues at a structural level. Having empathy and compassion is great, but I don't think it necessarily solves the problem at its core. But thankfully, Live Oak employs many educators in the New Orleans school system who witness these challenges every single day. And I think that's a start. And it also keeps camp aware of these issues and certain challenges other people might be facing. But I think that's really the extent of it. I don't think there's necessarily a huge change that Live Oak is making in the community. And so some of the things that I do, my official title is cabin coach, and I'm responsible for leading a group of 13 to 14-year-old boys in two separate 10-day sessions through team building activities and other fun games. I also must ensure the safety of every camper, and if there is someone who is hurt, I will escort them to the nurse's office where they will receive proper medical attention. And every night I lead devotionals where, like I said, they can range from being very serious or very funny. And of course, if there's ever a situation where the camper reveals that they were abused or anything, then that's when I will step in and be like, hey, we need to have a conversation. We will find you help. And so, yeah, so that is a little bit about my internship. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see y'all soon.